Hi, my name's Sarah, and welcome to my corner of the internet. I wanted to create more relaxed videos, so consider these notes to self, and I hope they will help to give you anchoring and grounding as we all move through this journey called life. One of the things that's been on my mind a lot recently is the idea of success, and specifically the importance of defining success and what it means to me and how I can actually practice what I say I believe. I'm at an age where the chickens are coming home to roost. And what I mean by that is most my friends and I have been out of university for at least, I think this is 10 years, 10 or 11 years. And so some of us are 10 or 11 years into industries, into whatever we set our minds to doing. Most of my friends settled down very quickly with what they wanted to do: lawyers, journalists, working in policy. And so they've been building their careers and they're now doing really well. Um, they're in relatively senior positions, they are earning very healthily. And my path looked a little bit different. I tried quite a lot of things, and to the outside, they probably didn't make that much sense. But to me, there was an internal logic, if I can call it logic. More, it was a sense of a process of iteration. I wanted to keep moving towards the thing that would be working better than whatever I was in. And for me, that really came from a belief of not wanting to face a midlife crisis. I'm not sure why that was so important to me, but I just really felt a sense of not wanting to commit to a path that I would then regret at a point where you're unable to get time back. And so I really tried. And one of the beliefs I held through that time and even now, which I'll come back to, is the idea that in doing the thing that I feel I'm meant to be doing, that everything would work out. But that is a much more creative path, a non-linear path, and one that I even had my own questions of, like, is this working? Like, why am I doing this? Why does this feel so difficult? And over these years, and now that I'm bedding into myself a little bit more, I guess I'm coming to embrace not only my journey previously, which certainly has come together and is coming together in ways where I'm able to really see why I was doing certain things. But I'm also trying to cultivate less resistance in myself, about myself, and the path that I've chosen. And this is where the idea of defining your success comes in and why it's so important. Because if your family, your peer group, society at large is giving you a script about what success should look like, what milestones you should have reached or should be achieving, you will always be at the mercy of a force or an authority outside of yourself. And that authority doesn't need to necessarily be harmful, right? It can be coming from a good place. The desire to have built a career and to have a certain level of financial stability, security, career progression, networks, all of these kind of markers is no bad thing inherently. And if that suits you and if that's what you want, that is perfectly more than fine. It's great to be able to be in alignment with the thing that you want and how you choose to live your life. But if your path looks any different from that traditional route, it's a constant need to anchor into what your values actually are. And if we're unable to define those values, even if we know implicitly that we don't value some of the things that the mainstream path values, we'll keep getting pulled into a cycle of being drawn towards it, of wanting the same things that that path promises, because we don't anchor ourselves in the different path that we've chosen. And I know that that's something that has caused me some tension and frustration, because I'll feel like I want more, I should be doing better, or should have achieved certain things, or should be in a certain position, forgetting that I've actually actively chosen something different, and that I believe that that difference will be rewarded. And doubling down on that difference is maybe a different video, because it's brought up a lot around my ability to hold that difference and what that requires of doing things differently, of being seen in doing things differently, and all of the things that you carry with that. But I'm in a phase now where I'm claiming ownership of my life and of my difference and of my uniqueness. And like I say, building a level of trust where I know that all of this difference and the hard work and the growth and the journey of that is going to bring me to a place that will make me forget, make me question why I was even yearning for something else that appeared to be more desirable, because that's what everybody said that I should desire. So, how do we do this? How do we go about defining our success? And this is really down to building a sense of inner authority. And to be honest, regardless of what path you've chosen, connecting to your inner authority is essential to live a life that is of your own choosing, genuinely of your own choosing. And due to the way the world is set up, we are encouraged to defer to authorities outside of ourselves. When we're younger, that is our parents most immediately, our teachers, other trusted adults. We get to school, and then we grow up into adults, and there are a whole other host of scripts around how we should act. This is also not forgetting culture, religion. There are many networks that we exist in, and there is a balance of finding a part of yourself that is just yours, that you author for yourself, and you can navigate your way through these different systems and networks that are asking you to be something that you're not, or that you don't want. That adds another layer, because connecting to your inner authority is also not easy. We're out of practice. How do you even know what you sound like, what your own authority sounds like? And I think there are small ways that we can practice this. One of the things I like to do when I go for a walk, and I would do this especially because I used to work with young people, and I didn't know at the time that that's what I was doing, but I would encourage them, or even when I go for a walk by myself with a friend, and we'll get to a junction, I'll say, which direction do you feel like going? And in that moment, you're needing to connect with some innate sense and instinct of which way you feel is the right direction. And over and over again, you make these choices. You haven't planned the route. You're allowing things to unfold, and to trust that they'll unfold based on your own inner authority, that you will get to wherever it is that you need to be. And I think there are many ways that we can practice that in our lives. And especially it's important for people who are not comfortable in making decisions. Like if your friends are choosing where to eat and you're the person that always says, I don't mind, honey, you mind. You do mind. I know you have a preference. And these things sound small, but really so much of everything that we do is about building capacity, and to build the capacity to hold a model, to hold our own model of success. We have to have capacity to author our own decisions, and to deal with, okay, what if I've gone a way that's a dead end? What am I going to do? Or I've gone a direction that is taking me further than actually where I want to be. What am I going to do? But I'm going to trust that I can work it out. And I do every time I get back to where I need to be. So starting with the small is important. And then naming. Naming is really key, because I think if we are able to give names to things that can feel fragile, but things that are precious, we're able to give them some level of like a stable nature. And like I said, this idea of an anchor, of this thing that we're coming back to. So what are some of those things for you? For me, like I've said, owning my difference is absolutely one of them. It's not one that I'm going to fight. I'm going to move with it, with flow, as much as I can. And I am considering what are the knock-on effects of that. What does that mean in terms of how I might use my time in order to realize what I hope to realize? And then that creates a new set of values, and a new set of priorities. Because I really think that it is possible for us to realize a lot of what our heart most deeply wishes, but that comes through a process of alignment and realignment over and over again. The idea that you can either have this or that, I think is actually you can have a rich, rounded life, but how that comes to you is going to look different. Maybe the journey just looks different, and that's okay. So yeah, like I say, this is really a note to self, because I have to constantly remind myself of this, that I've chosen differently, and that I need to build capacity for myself to embrace the consequences of that difference, to develop a deep capacity for self-trust and faith. So I hope those reflections are helpful. I hope they reach whoever needs to hear them. And I'll see you in the next video. I hope you want to come back. If you do, leave a comment if you like this. But take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.